All right, Nathan. Hey, I got those clips that you sent over, and I just kind of wanted to um, kind of go over them and what I see, and kind of in the email discuss a little bit what you and Eric have been working on, and just make sure we're on the same path and that we're not kind of going too far offline here and wrecking a lot of the progress that you've done. Um, so I know in the email you said, over here, your original swing's over here on the left. You definitely are a little bit more upright, arms a little bit more extended out and stiff and rigid. Then over here on the right, you're a little bit more rounded, more relaxed, more athletic. If you look at these two here, you wouldn't be able to field a baseball, guard a basketball player, play linebacker position with your old posture here on the left, but you'd be able to do all those three things very easily and actively here on the right. So, one thing that I would discuss with you as we go is kind of your equipment and your lie angle. So you can see here, I don't know what club you've got here, if it's the same. Hopefully it's like a 6 or 7 iron or 5 iron, 6 iron. So hopefully they're within one, but you can see here basically the lie angle on your old swing is 56 and now it's 47. So if that's the same club, you've kind of changed the lie 13 degrees, which is quite a bit. And lie angle only matters a lot when we're talking about ground contact, not necessarily setup. So as we'll see here on the old swing, you'll come in flatter, and on the new swing, you come in a little bit more upright. So you kind of work into the same spot, but what I'd want to just make sure that they're fitted right so we're getting true ball flight, because if the lie angle's wrong, we're going to get overdraws or early chunks or bigger fades than what's really there due to the swing. So that's something we'll definitely have to keep our eye on. A couple other lines that I drew here was your spine tilt. So I basically go from tailbone right through your neck here, and we did that on both of them. So you're 55 in the old and 43 in the new. So you can see you've bent over at about 12 more degrees, and I like this look. The new look a lot better. Like I said, more athletic. You're going to have a lot more speed here and less wear and tear on the body. The other lines that I drew here, the orange one, I kind of take that from your middle of your hands, and what I like to see is kind of a hand path that kind of works up the forearm and kind of through the shoulder blade here. So you can see these are both kind of go right through kind of the lower third part of that your big shoulder blade. That's on the back here, on your back here. So that's kind of what that line represents, and then obviously your headline, so we can just kind of see your head. So what we're going to do is I'll just kind of go through and stop each one of these at each of the positions. So that was A1. You talked about A2, face being closed and inside there, and then let's get in the same position over on this next one. So we can see the face is down a little bit. I don't mind that at all. It's definitely more in line with your hands or in front of your hands in the new after you've been working, and then it goes this way. But I want you to focus on with both of these is your hands on both of these is now working towards being inside that hand path, which we would like to see go straight up this line here. So that's A2. So A3, we can see the hands are getting even deeper. In here, you start to get more vertical, but they're still inside. If we go again here. So they're there. So they're still slightly inside. And then let's work up to the top. So that's where most people, if they just looked at plane, yeah, you get in a good spot at the top here. And let's look on this one here. You get in a good spot on both of them at the top. your new motion here. The backswing's a little bit longer. Your elbow's a little bit further away from your body. And pointing down the target line to maybe slightly across. Some people would say this is laid off. I think it's pretty good because I reference playing slightly different. I take your arm, whoops, and as long as the club is above that arm line, then I would say it's on plane or across the line. The only time I'd ever say it's laid off is when that head starts to droop underneath that line. So I think your club position on both of these is in a good spot. I would reckon that this one over here is a little bit longer and your elbow's up a little bit more, simply because of the change in your body movement that Eric has been working on you on. So like I said, I don't know which keys you guys have been working on. I would think some of it's going to be key number 4, sweet spot path, with maybe some key number 1 in there. But looking at your body, things are really, really good in that regard. So now let's work these down. So now you can see the clubs coming down that line. So now your hands are on the hand path, but downswing we should be higher than that, as this is clubs laying down. So that's good. So here you see your hands get steeper. Club doesn't quite get laid down all the way, but it's still pretty good. And here, so we can see here what we got going on here is 2 totally different hand paths on the way down. A lot of that's because of the change in the backswing. The old motion, your hands are pretty much right back to where they started. The new, their outsides of the club's kind of getting thrown a little bit. So I can see that's why you're starting to hit a lot more fades. I also think that that's probably why you're having a hard time getting a 3-wood up in the air. There's basically 3 things that get the ball up in the air. Loft on the club, which is what it is. If this is a 6-iron, it is a 6-iron. You know, it is 32 degrees loft or whatever it is. Swing direction. So the more rightward path you have, the more height you're going to get on the golf ball. The more leftward path, typically the lower you're going to hit it. And number 3 is speed. So typically in both these swings, I would have to say your swing's pretty much the same. So you shouldn't be seeing too much height difference due to lack or increase in swing speed. So it's going to be pretty much just that middle one. So the direction we're swinging the club, this newer motion over here on the right definitely has a more leftward looking path to it. So typically with those, we're going to get a lower flight unless we tweak the club and start coming in really, really weak. And then we hit high tee cuts. But I suspect that's not the case. Head's dropping. So because the head was very high, you've got to throw it down to get it back down. So we can see here, remember I talked about lie angle 56 over here. Let's see what we are at now. So you're at 60. So you've increased it 47 to 60, so 13 degrees. And or on this one, we basically have increased it 63, so 3 degrees, or 7. So twice as much vertical swing plane over here on the right versus the left. Another thing to look at too here is look at the space in your hands from your body, where these ones are more inward. So that's all, once again, because the hands were high, having to throw that shaft down to get it to the golf ball. And then I know you said the vertical on the through side, so the club's working out. And then vertical over here. And same. Get a little bit vertical over on this side. So not too bad. We lose tush line a little bit on both of these. You can see tailbones here. tailbones here, so a little bit more on the most recent swing, moving into the ball. So that would be definitely something to work on. But one thing I want to do here, because all in all, I mean, it's not bad at all, but I want to kind of throw up somebody that has kind of the same body style as you. And here we go. We're going to throw Ryan Moore up on here. Both of you kind of have the same body look, and especially at
meanwhile,
setup here. So we can see setup. We'll do the same thing, spine. So he's about 46-ish, 47 really. And 45, and you're 47. So you can kind of see his knee bend, his curvature. You two, if we overlaid, would look really, really close together right there. But hand pass. So we all know that's going right up his forearm. You can see his arms are a little bit more cocked up than you are. Is Ryan Moore and Jim Fury kind of the two that have this weird golf swing looking thing, right? But if we remove the club out of his hands, we just watch where his hands go. It kind of tells a big, big story. So
way left with his body, almost as much as Lee Trevino used to. But going back, he sets the angle with his shaft almost.
So you can see here, his hands are pretty much working right up this line. They're a little bit ball side. Yeah, the club's way outside and vertical. It's facing the ground just like yours. But his hands are going pretty much straight up his forearm. Just like we drew over here, right up your forearm. We can see a little bit, half on each side, half on each side. So if we look here, his hands pretty well working. A little bit outside, right? Now, like I said, he's a little bit more laid off, but he's got a vertical hand path. So that's where he's going to get a little bit more laid off. But then once again, his hands are coming straight down that. Okay, so I keep pausing the video. So what we're looking at is, we can see here, if we drag you kind of the same A5 position. You can see he's got a little bit more lag. His elbow's pitched in. You can see part of his lower rib cage. In yours, you can't quite. So elbow path is going to do a lot of that. Get him down here. So his hands work out to a certain point, and then they stop, and the club comes down where yours keep working out, and then it dumps. So you're there, you're there. Now watch his hands from this point. They're going to work up and left. So see how they're starting to work left, and now they're working up. So that's where the exit's going to go more left. Now he's fully extended. His hands are real close to his body and working left. Yours are working up and to the right. You can see how you're kind of stretching a little bit more. He hasn't lost his spine tilt, so see how close his spine line is to start. We've lost yours here a little bit. So just little things that here and there. So what I see us working on is a lot of key number one, steady head. We're going to get that body working around that spine a little bit more proficient. So we get rid of some of this verticalness over here. We can start looking like this. We stay in our spine tilt a little bit better than over here that we're seeing. So just those little things like that. And then key number 4, sweet spot path. So biggest thing in golf is, yeah, we're swinging the club head, and the club head's hitting the golf ball. But our hands are connected to that instrument or that club. So if we can fix where our hands go, we can fix where the club goes. So hopefully those are the same things that you guys have been working on, and we'll continue to work on those. We'll just look at doing it in a couple different ways. I saw those drills trying to get your hand, the club head to go um, up more. So we'll continue to work on some of those things. But all in all, I think really you got a good foundation, and that's one of the things I know you probably look at your swing and like, oh, this is ugly or terrible. I do the same thing. I'll send David or Chuck Evans or even Eric videos of my swing and be like, "What do you think?" Because I think it looks terrible, and they're like, "Dude, it looks awesome." So, um, really good. We can discuss more on what issues you have, but I think we got a good foundation, and we can do a lot of good work. So, I look forward to working with you in October. It sounds like so. I know that's near the end of the season, but we can do some good work. Find some places to do. Some stuff during the winter even. So good job, and I look forward to talking to you more and working with you.